Hello and welcome. My name is Taylor Magnus from Sockeye Consulting. With this latest 2025 R1 update just released this past Friday, Sage pushed out a number of new features and functionality. So as always, we wanted to get some videos out surrounding the features we thought our clients would most benefit from. First, we'll focus on more core financial applications, and then we'll move into some exciting new construction-related updates. Now, just as a reminder, we can access those review notes by navigating to the home page here. And Sage is good about pushing out the review notes typically about 2 weeks ahead of the release actually coming out. And so when we come in here, we can see there is some in-depth documentation surrounding those changes. A lot of times it's broken out by financial application. In a lot of cases, we will have industry-specific updates like construction, as we can see here. But this video really isn't going to go into all of those updates, just the ones that we thought our clients would most benefit from. So we really encourage people to go through and review those and give some consideration into, whether or not we want to roll out some of this new functionality internally to our teams. Now for our first update, we have vendor-based approvals. So this has been something we get requested quite often. With this latest update, we now have the ability to designate vendor-specific approvers at the vendor record. So this is especially valuable in instances where we have complex invoices or vendors, and we want the approver to be someone with expertise on the vendor's billings or services. So to have this opened up, first we'll need to revise our accounts payable bill approval policy. So to see this, we'll come into our accounts payable configuration and come down into our approvals area. And as we can see, we'll now have the rule type option to select vendor-based approval. In many cases, this would likely be made our step one, and then can be followed by value-based approval policies for subsequent approvals if needed. It is worth noting, and this was called out in the review notes, if you have both vendor-based approvals as well as value approval transaction department rules present in the policy, departmental approval is overridden for bills from vendors who have a bill approver assigned. From there, when we come into a vendor record, we'll see under billing details, we have the ability to assign our bill approver. This can be an individual user or a user group, as long as all members of the group are unrestricted and have the appropriate permissions. Lastly, this update to our vendors can be done en masse using the provided CSV import templates under the company application. We are excited to see Sage announce that AP automation for purchasing is now moving out of accounts payable bills and into the purchasing module as an add-on to AP automation. This was in early adopters for roughly a year, being tested by clients who were giving feedback to Sage. But this will include automatic matching to POs and commitments. For the matching functionality, incoming invoices will be drafted and matched to any previous documents, such as the purchase order or receiver. Once enabled, there is some setup on the back end to map our invoices to their source document transaction definitions. But once set up, we can start bringing those invoices in. To see and set up the mapping, we'll come into the purchasing configuration here. And as we scroll down, we'll see below, this is where it is that we can establish some of the mapping, and we can have multiple maps set up in this case. So to start bringing in those invoices, I'll come into the automated transactions area here. Now, once here, there are two ways to kick invoices off into this process. We can upload those invoices by clicking and dragging up to 30 at a time into this area here. These are our accepted file types. The other method is a monitored email inbox provided by Sage. And so with this, we can set up some rules and automation within our own pre-existing AP mailbox to essentially forward out invoices into the monitored inbox. Now, once those have come in, and we'll see I have a few here, we do have the ability to change our source document or optionally change the target transaction definition. We also have the ability to revert to an AP bill in the case that we need to do that. For our next update, we have the ability to now prevent direct postings to specific journals. So direct entries to GL journals are one of the primary causes of discrepancies between subledgers and the GL. And so with this latest update, we now have enhanced controls surrounding the journals to which we allow those users to post. And so to see this, we can come into one of our journals. And we'll see Sage has added a disallow direct posting checkbox to the setup page. So if we select this checkbox, users cannot create entries for the journal through the journal entry page in the general ledger application. Users instead will need to post through the subledgers. Keep in mind, this setting will also prevent the creation of journal entries through import or API. So smart events and integrations will also need to be considered before utilizing. All right, now let's move into the updates we think our CRE clients will most benefit from. So for this first update, while not CRE specific, Sage did announce a new early adopters program for a new module called Lending Management. While I don't have anything to show for this update within the system, we can come in and check out the review notes surrounding the program, and your account manager can help facilitate participation in the program. Where we see this being most useful, at least in the CRE space, is for our developers that provide any in-house financing for customers and clients. So this module will allow for loan management from origination to automatic interest accruals and statements, all the way through payoff directly within Intacct, working to obviously help streamline the loan management process and bring it directly into the system. Definitely be sure to check out the release notes to learn more and reach out to your account manager if you're interested in participating in the early adopters program. With this latest release, we'll now have the ability to associate custom fields using our typical workflow to specific compliance types. The reason this is so important is that certain custom fields may only be relevant for certain compliance types. We can now tell it which specific compliance type that we want that custom field to live on. Now for our next update, with this latest release, we now have the ability to add secondary vendors directly to our primary documents. Prior to this, we would need to manually add those secondary vendors to our AP bills prior to payment. So with this change, we can now include secondary vendors on our purchasing source documents so that no details get missed when we go to start paying out our subcontractors using other secondary vendors, making it easier for customers, especially GCs, from needing to track any more additional details and preventing things from being missed. And so you will need to have already enabled joint checks within AP within the configuration area. We can see that here. But once done, we can now see, as we come into one of our subcontracts, we now have the ability to designate those secondary payees here. So once done, as we convert or create invoices off of this commitment, those secondary payees will carry forward into our AP bill. With this latest release, we see some great enhancements and new fields included in the WIP management tool. The first, as we come in, we'll see is the ability to access the prior period WIP schedule directly from the current schedule that we're working on. And so we have that hyperlink there where we can start to drill in. In addition, when we create a new WIP schedule, the PM and CFO forecast values from the prior period WIP schedule are automatically copied and brought in from the previous period. If there isn't a prior period WIP schedule, PM and CFO forecast will be left blank. And as we come further into the schedule itself, down below here in the details, we will see that we have some new informational fields available as well, which include year-to-date cost, current period billings, current period costs, period earned profit, period earnings. And down below, we also see our project begin and end dates are also being pulled in for us, helping to, just further streamline and bring visibility into this WIP management process. As always, thanks for watching. And as I said at the beginning, there are many other updates included that didn't find their way into this video. So we really encourage our current clients and users to jump in, review some of those review notes, see if there's anything that they would like help rolling out. And as always, feel free to reach out to the team here at Sockeye if you have any questions over anything Intacct or release related.